To be honest, I am really tired of seeing all of you gorgeous, amazing women end up with men that don't take you on dates or get you flowers unless it's your birthday or Valentine's Day. Settle for a man that makes you go 50-50 and praising men for literally doing the bare minimum. Women in society are expected to be mothers, caretakers, personal chefs, housemaids, and on top of all of that energy we are already expected to just freely give, there are men out here that really expect us to split the bill and just be breadwinners too. Enough is enough. If you clicked on this video and realized that all the men you dated are literally losers, I promise you there are better men out there. And I am going to help you figure out how to find them. It's time to look at a few things: your boundaries, your standards, and your mindset. In this video, I'm going to be giving you 5 ways you can stop attracting low-value men and start attracting better men into your life. First thing is first, raise your standards and actually stick to them. Stop settling for potential. If he's not already showing up as a quality man, he isn't one. And do not make the mistake of telling him what your standards are. Some men will literally say or do anything to try and get into your pants, and then they quit the act as soon as you give them exactly what they've been wanting. Let him show up however he wants to show up on his own, and pay attention to his action, not just words. Loser men love to talk big game but rarely will follow through. See the level of respect that he treats you with without telling him how you want to be treated. See if he is willing and wants to pay for dates without you needing to ask. See if he buys you flowers or gifts without telling him that you want a man that does. If he isn't showing up the way you want him to, all on his own, don't try to fix him. Just find a man that naturally meets your standards. And by the way, if most men can meet your standards, they're not high enough. You need more than just an emotional connection to have a happy, healthy, successful relationship. There was one time I went on a date with this guy. It was our first date, and he took me golfing and to a drive-in movie. Cute, paid for everything, awesome. It was great. And mind you, I'm going on dates with other men during this time too. I'm not sleeping with any of them, but I'm just assessing my options, you know, figuring out what I like, collecting data, if you will. Well, about a week goes by and he messages me and he's like, I want to see you again. And I responded to him with like, okay, what do you have in mind? Asking him, you know, what is our next date gonna be? And he was like, you know, I don't really know. What do you want to do? Red flag number 1. If you want to see me, it's not my responsibility to come up with our date idea. You're the one that wants to see me, so come up with the idea on your own. But, you know, I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I just thought, you know, maybe he just wants to do something that I would enjoy, so he wants me to pick it this time. Cool. So I suggested that we go out for dinner and, you know, to like a walk through the park that weekend. And he responded with, and I quote, well, I didn't want to do anything that involved spending money. What? And let me tell you, if he had the audacity to just admit to me that he couldn't even do the bare minimum, he didn't even see me as worthy enough to pay for my dinner and do the literal bare minimum, I had the audacity to tell him I don't want to continue dating him and I don't want to see him again. Some people might think it's harsh, that it's not his fault if he couldn't afford to take me out to eat. I completely, utterly, strongly disagree with that. And here is why. A walk in the park is free. Dinner does not have to be expensive. You can go to a decent sit-down restaurant and only spend like $30. If $30 is breaking the bank for him, then honestly, he cannot afford a relationship with a woman anyway. And I don't have to subject myself to poor treatment and a man using money as an excuse to not treat me right, especially if I had other options that had no problem with taking me out on dinner dates. Cut him off, you know? Like, I don't have to deal with this. What he really wanted was for me to suggest that he comes over so he could have the opportunity to try to get in my pants without having to put any investment in on his part. Not gonna happen. And then once I told him, you know, I didn't want to see him again, it's over, like, bye. He was of course like, oh, I'm sorry, like, we can definitely go out on a date, like, we can do that, that sounds good, like, it's not that big of a deal. So suddenly you can take me on a proper date? No. It does not work like that. It was too late. I'm not going to spend my time and my energy trying to teach a man how to treat me. I'm simply going to find a man that will treat me how I deserve without me needing to ask or beg for it. And I did, by the way. But I'm just sharing that personal experience of mine to show you an example of really how to stick to your standard. If he's inconsistent, if he's unreliable, if he brings drama, cut him off. There is no reason to waste your time trying to fix him. You're not Bob the Builder, bitch. Go find find someone better. This leads me to tip number 2. Check your own patterns. Are you drawn to fixer-uppers? And I'm not talking about real estate, babe. I'm talking about the men that fail to meet your standards. So you spend all of this time and energy trying to teach them how to treat you. No, that is a recipe for disappointment. Instead of pouring all of this effort into trying to make something work that isn't, just find someone that better understands you and aligns with you all on their own. Are you ignoring red flags because of chemistry, because the vibe is there, or because there's a spark? Don't let attraction override common sense. Your intuition is a gift. Use it. You are noticing these causes for concern early on for a reason. Attraction can fade. People, especially men, get bored and want something new all the time if they're not secure in themselves. That is why it's important to not sleep with a man too soon either, because you can have amazing chemistry with someone that is absolutely horrible for you and your mental health. Another common pattern that I used to do, that I see other women do, is thinking of him as your boyfriend or referring to him as if you guys are dating before you're even official yet. Stop doing this, because unless it's official, you're single and you need to treat the relationship as such. Otherwise, you will get yourself stuck in a situationship. No high value woman should be entertaining a situationship. So if you are, take this as your sign to cut him off now, because it's literally never going to work out. If he wanted to date you, he would be dating you. I promise. He is not going to make you wait months and months and months. Are you entertaining relationships with men that are bad for you or don't meet your standards because you're afraid of being alone? The only men that have ever had a problem with my standards are the loser men that couldn't meet them. Please understand, desperation attracts the wrong people. Staying in a relationship that isn't serving you is much worse than learning to love your life all on your own. And if you struggle with being alone, that's probably just a sign that you need to be alone more often. It's uncomfortable because you're not used to it. The more that you realize that you don't need a man to make you happy because you are enough and you are complete all on your own, the easier it's going to be for you to walk away from situations and people that are doing you more harm than good. Which brings me to my next tip, and I cannot stress this one enough. Set clear boundaries. You need to stop tolerating any form of disrespect, excuses, or laziness. No more talking stages. A talking stage should not exist. You go on a few dates, and if he's interested in you, he's not going to let months go by without making it official. I promise. He will ask you to be his girlfriend if he wants you to. My now fiance asked me to be his girlfriend after the 3rd date. That's it. It does not take 6 months. It takes 3 dates. A talking stage is just going to get you wrapped up into a situationship, and you'll have feelings for a guy that won't even commit to you. And if he ghosts you, we respect the dead and we move on. You don't need to start obsessing over him to try to figure out why or to try to get closure. Instead, you realize that the love of your life would never do that to you, so it must not be him, and move on to the next. It's really that simple. You should only be focusing on what is in your control. Don't tolerate mixed signals. You need to start interpreting mixed signals as a form of disrespect, because it is. If he won't respond to your text at all during the day and has you thinking that he's not interested in you, but then messages you late at night when he wants you to come over, that's disrespectful. If he says he's not looking for a relationship and yet continues to lead you on as if he will want one with you eventually, that is disrespectful. Stop tolerating it. Don't allow it. Cut men off as soon as they show these red flags. You are worth more than being the girl that gets led on for months. You're worth too much to be somebody's late night booty call when you want real, genuine love. You are so valuable, and every time you let a man cross one of your boundaries, you are selling yourself short. Don't. A high value man will gladly pay your price plus more. Do not settle. Next, tip number 4 is to change your dating pool. If you keep meeting these losers in the same places, switch it up a little bit. Try involving yourself in new social circles or new hobbies. For instance, you should not be dating men that you work with simply because they are literally on the same playing field that you are on. You should only want to be with men that are going to enhance your life and make it better. If you work with him, you're gonna be stuck doing 50-50 with him too. Let me tell you. Don't use dating apps like Tinder. Unless you want to make yourself look like just another option, then sure, go ahead. I made the mistake of using Tinder, and nothing ever goes anywhere. You do not want to make yourself that easily accessible. I would also say if he's using dating apps like Tinder, that's still a red flag, because he's probably out looking for commitment. So if you're meeting a guy on Tinder, I mean, the chances of it working out, slim. It might sound old-fashioned, but meeting people in person is actually the way to go. Here's why. When you meet someone in person, you know right away if you have chemistry with them or not. You'll be naturally drawn to them because of a connection. The person people pretend to be on dating apps is typically never an accurate description of how they actually are. It's just the version of themselves that they want you to see. When you meet someone in person, you get to gauge their manners, how they carry themselves, your attraction to them much better. For instance, I bumped into my now fiance at a bar and we ended up talking for 6 hours straight that night. Neither of us were using dating apps. We were just two people in the right place at the right time that were naturally drawn together. The problem with dating apps is that you're often trying to force an outcome or already have it set in your mind how you want that interaction to go. When you meet someone organically, it might not be as easy, but it will be far more rewarding. If you're not happy with the men that you've been dating, it's time to change how you're meeting men and the kind of men that you are dating. You can't keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Switch it up. And last but not least, my final tip is to work on your own growth. Confidence is the most attractive quality that a woman can have. If you believe that you deserve better, you'll stop entertaining less. Focus on your own goals, your hobbies, self-improvement. Quality men are drawn to women with purpose. But more importantly, if you give yourself purpose, you will start to love yourself so much that you won't tolerate these loser men anymore. In fact, you'll repel them. You need to pinpoint the things that are holding you back from having a healthy relationship and work them out. Start journaling and doing thought work with yourself to unravel some of these issues. It could be childhood trauma, past relationship trauma, trust issues, commitment issues, attachment issues, whatever it is. Until you become secure and love yourself all on your own, you will never be happy in a relationship. When you're not secure in yourself and you get into a relationship, you will start to use that person as your source of fulfillment and happiness. And what happens is you're gonna let their mood dictate your mood. So if they seem off, you're gonna get emotionally distraught, hyper focused on their mood, letting it ruin yours completely. You will need your partner to reassure every single little insecurity that you have, an exhausting ritual, because you cannot assure yourself. You don't know how. You lack the confidence to. If both people are not confident and happy all on their own, the relationship becomes a codependent mess. The more energy and love you pour into yourself, the more time you spend alone reconnecting with who you are, the more you will attract men that are on that same wavelength, and the more likely it is that you're going to have a successful relationship. Confidence is the key to your power. Nurture the love that you have for yourself every single day and watch your entire life change. Loser men will always exist, but they don't have to exist in your life. At the end of the day, the kind of people that you attract starts with the standards that you set. Raise them, enforce them, and watch how all the low quality experiences from men start to slowly disappear from your life. You deserve someone that meets you at your level, never below it. If this video helped, please like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments the biggest red flags that you've seen in men that have made you cut them off, so we can all learn together. Until next time, bye guys!